Welcome back to our second match with our Diamond Ruby deck today. Looks like we got paired into another High Cleric Marzul deck here. Hopefully our opponent will have equally slow starts to the last one. Is my opponent here? Maybe I should have waited to click the start recording button. Opponent, play Hex with me now. Do 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 do. Sounds like medium minus. We need to draw some resources anyways. This hits second diamond by turn 3, we're going to be in a good spot. If it doesn't, it'll be a little bit awkward because we're going like Herald into a second 2-drop. Cerulean Sage in 1 is particularly aggressive, kind of scary. Just like, actually just the worst draw in the deck. Like, want to draw resources or cards that do stuff, draw resources that are the threshold we don't need. Ding. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and lead an Awaken Herald on 2 here because this is still going to be a 2-1 next turn, and I would definitely prefer to trade this with something if offered rather than this since we're playing the Spearcliff Captain next turn anyways. Alrighty, yeah. Let's play this out. But really glad we hit the diamond now since we hit a Spearcliff. Another Spearcliff Captain. Touch awkward that my opponent has the Rift Spasm ready to go already. This can't attack in here. Rift Spasm on 3 is going to generate a lot of value for our opponent. Hopefully we're just able to power through it by going Spearcliff Captain into Spearcliff Captain here. This says whenever my opponent gains 2 charges in a turn, it gets some kind of bonus. They're not willing to trade that for this. That's good for me. If I readjust a card, they drew a card from that. Again, hopefully our goal here is to just beat our opponent in the mid, or in the early game as opposed to trying to go long against the Rift Spasm. That's going to generate them a lot of card advantage here. Let's play this out. It's possible I just want to play the Cavalry next turn actually. I can also play this War Priest out. This will attack. If I Valor this, it'll attack as a 5/4 with Flight because of this. Our next turn could also just be like Ruby, Champ Power, Valor this, play this. Sure, Skirmisher, sure. This draws them a card that they have to play this turn. Web Scribe. That's going to make racing difficult. This says whenever they gain a charge, they get to give something -2 power until the next turn. So they're going to get to shrink this. Also can't block this profitably currently. I probably want to play the Cavalry out, actually. Taking 5 here, I assume. Hopefully they have to discard whatever it is they drew from the Skirmisher. Playing the Cavalry out means this gets to... Oh, it must have been the resource that they drew. Fire in the hole is a good pickup. It means we can kill one of their things here at some point soon. So I could Valor this, attack for 4, War Priest, fire in the hole, kill this or this. Well, we're definitely champ powering, right? So the question now becomes, am I playing the Cavalry or am I playing these 3 cards? I feel like I just want to play the Cavalry. Yeah, I'm just going to play the Cavalry here. I should have attacked first here, leaving up resources. I'm going to go ahead and get in for 1, I think. I guess this holds this at bay, so like is triggering this once and getting in 1 point of damage worth getting attacked by this. Although I guess this keeps this home as well. Alright, I'm just gonna get my 1 point of damage in. Alright, 14 here, not the most exciting life total. They do have their champion power here at some point too, which might be a reason to leave fire in the hole up. I suppose we're probably not spending all of our resource anymore for the rest of the game here, so that's fine. I'm probably using this to speed bump the fiery just to car this turn anyways, unless of course they champ power it. They might champ power the Cerulean Sage just to attack through the Rift Spasm. That's interesting. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Go ahead and put this here and put this here. Take 5, go down to 9. I think that's fine. I don't think they have another charge to gain because they would have played it pre-combat, right? So good. The Rift Spasm doesn't trigger this turn. Diamond, play that out for sure. Can I race here or not? I'm gonna start by drawing a card here and see what we get. Probably want to fire in the hole this. A fireball that we can cast, so that's pretty good. So I can just like shoot down these two and then start racing. That seems pretty good. So I think I'm gonna play the War Priest this turn and then attack with these. Yes, I'm gonna play the War Priest. I can Valor the War Priest so it keeps the Web Scribe and possibly the Rift Spasm at bay. And then I can fire in the hole or fireball down the Fierce Justicar. I'm gonna crack him for 5 here. Attempt to kill this now. This Web Scribe might rustle our plans a little bit by generating minus power here. I should leave one of these back to chump, possibly. They're coming across for up to 5 here. I suppose there's something like a Blitzer, we could be in trouble. So now this can make this, and this gets smaller, and then up that one, sure. That's a very good draw from our opponent. One of the best Ruby cards in the set. I'm pretty sure that's going to end us here. Can really play around that sequence with Spasm as well, so yeah, it's possible I should hold up the fire in the hole there so I can kill their Cerulean Sage in response, so that way the Lava Shaper doesn't get a trigger, but I don't think we're realistically beating a Lava Shaper there. There's no reason to play around it. To be able to play this game. Oh, you know what? I probably wouldn't mind having that Battle Scrivener in my deck in this matchup. It's probably on the draw. We're gonna put that in probably over the Tanker Trunk. It's a card that's good at racing against the aggressive decks. Seems super reasonable. Oh, right, we have a lot of really good removal in our deck. Just didn't have any last game. It's exciting. This is why Draft is less tilting than Evo. And still Best of One's just, as a competitive player, is not an exciting format. Well, that is certainly something. The good news is we have a blocker for next turn, so I'm just going to play that out as opposed to spending a piece of removal on that. And now that that blocker's going to be this Blessed Scout, so that way we can do our due diligence and start conscripting away here. I feel we don't need to feed the flames or something along those lines. I'm assuming we'll see an attack here because if this gets a power, but as soon as this gets blocked, it's going to flip back up to my opponent's hand. Despite all his rage, he's still just a goat in a cage. No blocker there means that this Blessed Scout gets to get in a shot here. And we're going to get the Diligence into a 1-drop troop next turn. We play out my War Priest as another blocker for the goat. We do need a second Ruby in order to play this Gallant Duelist at some point, but we are on track to activate our Champion Power on 5, which is nice here. Got 2 shots to draw into the resource. If our opponent plays out a blocker next turn, we can decree a Banishing or Feed the Flames, depending on how large it is. Worth noting, opponent is missing their Sapphire Thresholds currently. Sure. Alright, give me a Ruby Shard. Womp womp. Play a Grizzly Orc, because it's not really doing anything other than being a 2-2 in a matchup where they have Valors as well. Kraken for 2 here. Real shame we didn't get to generate anything with that. They did spend a pretty quality piece of removal here. Pyre Strike's pretty valuable. There's their Sapphire Threshold, so their hand should mostly be unlocked at this point. Do they have a 1-cost Ardent Troop? So not an Ardent Troop, so Spasm's not going to trigger this turn. Can kill it with Feed the Flames next turn and then crack them for some amount here. Easy block. Shard would be great, so we can do this plus make... Huh. So 10 out of 10 doing this. I think we're actually just attacking for 2 here. I want to leave this Cavalry back to block the goat. I don't think getting in a shot for 2 is worth taking a crack for like 5 from this goat on the backswing. Opponent's got goat plus 4 cards in hand. Oh, Lava Shaper. We know they have at least 1 Ardent Troop in hand. Now we're going to take a hit for 5 from this goat. So we missed our resource drop. Then that's the worst of the 2 resources we could draw, since it doesn't let us cast the Gallant Duelist in our hand. So I guess we'll just play this Decree of Banishing. Snag the Lava Shaper off the table. Attack for 2 here, since my opponent's going to need to kill both of these phantoms in order for the goat to get through. I think this is fine. Yep. Worth noting, Marzul's power not applicable with the Scapegoat. Would love to draw Ruby next turn so we can go Duelist into Decree of Banishing. You have a goat opponent. I'm gonna be greedy and cycle this. Ding. Pretty sure we just want to avoid this Warband Ruffian here. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with 2 of these. I think getting in the 1 extra point of damage is worth the potential upside of taking a crack for 7 here if they want to spend a piece of removal on my Phantom. That might be an incorrect assessment. Maybe I'm just supposed to leave my second Phantom back just as an insurance policy. If we were lower than 17, I would definitely leave it back, but I feel like taking one 7 ball here at the cost of them spending a removal spell on this is worthwhile. Created a Valor, sure. That's unfortunate. So it wasn't a piece of removal, but it kind of was. So they have Valor and then one other card in their hand here. Duelist. Worth noting that opponent's going to be able to champ power plus Valor this next turn, so that's probably a 5-ball we're going to have to eat. Valor this. Just offering this trade. Yeah, I think I'm offering that trade. I'm not going to offer this trade too because now our life total's at a point where I want 2 blockers back for this goat. I don't think dealing an extra 3 damage here is worth potentially dying next turn. Goats punch the clock and go on to work this game. Between the Lava Shapers, their deck's very powerful. They got a lot of the things you're looking for. We haven't seen a Rock Slider out of them, which would be one of the payoffs they're on, but like they've got some quality removal. We got a couple of medium minus cards, like Emberleaf Bladesman isn't particularly good, and Crackling Tide isn't very good, but you know, the Lava Shapers and all this other stuff they have is pretty reasonable. They can Valor this and crack us for 4. And their champ power could potentially push through some extra damage next turn. Oh, they have 2 Valors because of the interlude. Yep. Please champ power this. Alright. Already spent our Feed the Flame, so like need to draw our last degree of banishing here basically. Firebrand. Alright, so we're playing this out. How do we not die? How do we not die? So this is going to be attacking for 6, and I need a blocker for... the goat as well. So I need to put 2 defense in front of this in order to not die. So I'm going to attack with Gallant Duelist and Phantom here. And then Phantom bounces the goat to their hand, and Ashwood Firebrand hops in front of this along with a Valor. So that way I take 6 minus 2 is 4 and go to 1, and then we can kill them next turn. So we're putting ourselves dead to a piece of removal here, but I think we should take this slightly more aggressive line. I feel like being more defensive than this is like a playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. This way we've positioned ourselves in a way where if they make this attack and don't have the removal, we're going to get to kill them on the backswing next turn, since the goat can't block. Sure. And like I said, if they drew any kind of trick or piece of removal here, like we are just dead. So I made that decision when we made our attack, and I stand by it. I'm pretty sure it's the correct line. So Cremate, Blazing Hammer, all those things kill us here. Sure. Another blocker is not stellar for us either. So they were just dead. Sure. They made the attack and made sure we saw the line that we needed to see. I mentioned putting in Battle Scrivener when we're on the draw here. Probably don't mind having a Vanquish in my deck, honestly. I kind of feel like I want to touch more removal. Nah, this is probably fine. Yeah, let's just save it. I'll just swap the Tanker Truck for the Battle Scrivener. So made it to a game 3 at least here. Close games. Okay, first game we kind of got ran over. Second game was close. It's like medium minus, right? We need double diamond to activate Ada. We've got Cavalry and Feed the Flames that are playable. Oh, hands like that are a trap. This hand's much better, even if it is basically a mulligan to 5 already. Hopefully we can run off some ruby thresholds here while also drawing a diamond at some point. It's not awkward at all. Alright, there's a ruby. So we would like to draw resources for our first 2 tunes, just like ruby into diamond. Arena Regular, 10 out of 10, just gonna hit this with a Decree of Banishing. This is one of their better payoff cards, lets them be aggressive on the play. Alright, sign me up. Get to play Galleon Spearcliff on 4. Draw Ruby Threshold so we can play our Fireball and activate our Ada on 5. That'd be great. What you got? What you got? What you got, opponent? Yep, it's again, it's another one of their payoff cards, so a lot of the times the champion that my opponent is playing is kind of weak, except for these payoff cards that enables like Rock Slider and Arena Regular, so 10 out of 10 is going to take these opportunities to get those off the table ASAP. Made sure to play the Ruby Shard there, because if we draw another Ruby next turn, and they play something like Rift Spasm, we can go Battle Scrivener into Fireball. So hopefully that's pretty good. The Scrivener keeps that on lockdown though, or any blocker does. So hopefully we hit a Ruby here, so we can go Scrivener Fireball, just clean my opponent's board up, continue keeping it in check. Galleon Duelist, alright. That's kind of the stuff, I guess. They have my Spearcliff pass the turn. My opponent might be low in Ardent Troops by now. This doesn't die to Lava Shaper at least, which is nice. My opponent attacks in with this. I don't think I'm going to block. I think playing around Lava Shaper is worthwhile. I'm just going to flip the Git back to their hand. Saves us the same amount of damage either way, and this makes them use their resources. They don't have a shard, sweet, so that's not actually triggering even. God bless. Yep, let's make some phantoms. I'm just playing Galleon Duelist and attacking here. I feel like I am. Yeah, I'm gonna Valor this Galleon Spearcliff post-combat. That lets me, this only attack is a 4-3, so that means the Spearcliff as a 3-5 just succeeded in combat, so that means their Warband Ruffian can't attack. They're still 2 thresholds off of this getting bigger from its passive, and they're still 2 charges away from this, and they missed a resource drop last turn, so they shouldn't be able to generate 2 charges to push this through right now. Ideally, we're going to hit this Ruby Threshold for this Fireball and kill this before it gets bigger. That's unfortunate. Don't have an Ardent Troop. Don't have an Ardent Troop. Don't have an Ardent Troop. That's... okay, I would like the record to reflect that they technically didn't have an Ardent Troop there. I'm not any happier about it, but my request was technically granted. It's really unfortunate. Well, I guess we're doing this. And then we're going to attack for 6 in the air. Yep, sign me up. Let's embark on a race that we are almost certainly not winning. This gives them their champion power -2 every turn, so their Marzul power now costs 5 to use. Next, or now costs 6 to use. Next turn it will cost 4. All right, so they at least didn't get the 3rd ruby. This can still trade with this. Come on. All right, I could have played around that one. We know they have Explosive Interlude in their deck. Yep, this game loss is going to be at us. If I play around that, we're probably in a pretty good position to race with this Fireball. They can attack with... oh, they didn't attack with the Bastion. That's good for us. They also didn't play the Valor. Weird. Hey, we'd actually be in a pretty good spot this game if I'd have Valored the Spearcliff. That's something you should keep track of, like which pieces of removal your opponent is playing. I wanted to spread this out to diversify in case of removal, but like the explosive interlude was one of the few pieces of removal we actually saw out of my opponent, so... Okay. Man, God, we'd be winning this game by so much if I had a 4-power flyer in play still. It's like almost unreal how far we'd be ahead by. So counting here, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This would be 8. If we hit a ruby shard, this would be 9, and then the fireball. Huh. I think I'm going to wait on the Valor. I'm not sure what I want to Valor just yet. My opponent would actually be dead next turn had I Valored the right thing. So things worth noting. Hopefully they brick on their ruby shard again here. So things -2. It actually doesn't tell me how many times this has happened now, which kind of sucks. I'm pretty sure it's happened twice, so this costs them 4. So they can't actually attack with this, because I'll just trade it from my Gallant Duelist here. They don't actually have great attacks here, which is great for us. Yep, deal. Trade block. They draw some kind of trick here, or are they just trading these two? Must have drawn a trick, they've paused. Please don't involve Crush. Wow, okay, deal. Yep. Alright, if we draw a Ruby Threshold here, we could win this race by just attacking twice and then fireballing them. Or by drawing that. Okay, yep. I'm gonna Valor this, and then, they're not actually dead here, right? This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're actually a touch short. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and attack with these 3, I think, here. Fire Strike, okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Spearcliff Captain out here, because depending on how they attack next turn, I might want to just like take a big hit, because if I draw a Ruby Threshold, if they brick here, I can attack with these 3 for 8 in the air with this attacking, and then I can Fireball for lethal. So their Champ Power now costs them 2 to use, and next turn it will be free, so they'll get the Champ Power every single turn. Sure, you have a goat. If we draw the Ruby here, I think we're just going to try for lethal. And we did. Yeah, I think we're just supposed to try and kill them here. So this gives my Valorous troops flight, so this is 9. Come on, come on, just one brick was all we needed. Okay, let's try it. Okay, we ended up getting there, despite our pretty sizable mistake not playing around the Eerie Interlude. We ended up pulling it out, so stay tuned for the third match here in just a second. Thanks for hanging out, folks.